Alright, so this is Burn Earth Rite Rune. This is an old archetype, Earth Rite Rune at least, but in the last expansion, Tempest of the Gods, Earth Rite Rune got some new cards that promoted a new playstyle, because traditionally Earth Rune has been a control grinder deck. But the cards they got last expansion end up pushing for like a more tempo-based aggressive style, with a lot of burn damage. And it was pretty good. Actually, I'm not really going to go into too much detail over how this deck plays because I've already made a video on it back in the Tempest expansion. So if you want more detailed explanations over how this deck works, you can watch that video. It should be in the description. But yeah, this is a fairly aggressive deck, pretty fast-paced with a lot of burn. The key cards. The key cards are these two: Mage of Nightfall, which is a 3-drop. If you're able to get off her Earth Rite effect, that she turns into a 4/3 with Ambush, and because it's Ambush, that means she's most likely going to survive a turn, so that next turn you can go face, and it's 4 damage. Pretty serious. And the other card, the important one, is Halo Golem. This is a 4-drop, aggressively statted 4/3, and then if you get off his Earth Rite effect, he does 3 damage to an enemy. And that text is important, because enemy means you can direct it to face. Those are the two key cards, and in Wonderland Dreams, this archetype got a lot of love. So one of them is this, Witch's Cauldron. This is a 1-cost Earth Sigil, which is very, very good because previously the only one that existed, or the one that was actually playable, was the Scrap Iron Smelter. You didn't really play the other one, the spell, because there's no spell synergy in this deck. But yeah, last words, draw a card. So it's basically the Earth Rune version of Insight. Really great. Typically, it's the ideal turn 1 play for this deck. A couple of other new cards is Master Mage Levi, aka Young Levi. This card is ridiculous. Basically better than Disaster Witch, which was given ROB in every way. Almost every way, at least. But he has a 4/4, and then you play him, he deals 3 damage to an enemy, which is already really good. But then, if you're able to get off an Earth Rite effect, then he does 3 damage to all enemies. So, 3 damage AoE to your opponent's board and face. So yeah, this card is ridiculous. Definitely a card that is carrying this deck, Young Levi. And the best part about Young Levi, actually, is the fact that even if you play him without an Earth Sigil, he's still really good, because you're doing 3 damage no matter what. It only does the AoE damage if you want the Earth Rite. So in that way, he's a lot better than Halo Golem. Because Halo Golem, if you play him without the Earth Rite, he sucks, right? It's just a 4/3. But this guy, Levi, he always does 3 damage no matter what. Now, the last relevant addition is the one of Rune's new legendaries from this expansion, Wizard of Oz. She's really, really good. She's a 5-drop, vanilla statted, also gains full evolved stats, and when you play her, then she draws cards until you have 5 in her hand, and then all spells in your hand cost 1. And then once she dies, then start of your next turn, you lose all those spells. So since this is an aggressive deck, we run out of cards fairly quickly. So Wizard of Oz is a great way to refill when you start to run out of gas. But not only that, she also allows you to make these ridiculous, ridiculous tempo plays. And sometimes she allows you to make plays that would normally be impossible. Like, say, for example, if you have a Dance of Death and a what is that? A Mutagenic Bolt in hand. Normally, it would be impossible to cast those two spells in the same turn, but with Wizard of Oz and at least 7 play points, you can do it. So yeah, she's great. Really important card for this deck, and much much better than Magic Girl Melvi, which was run in the Tempest of the Gods version of this deck. Other than that, pretty straightforward deck. We have a lot of burn. We have Levi, young or old Levi, 3 very very important source of burn. We run 3 Piercing Runes, which is again another good burn spell, and has great synergy with Oz, because when you play with Oz, then Piercing Rune returns to 1 cost, which was its original cost before the nerf. And then of course we also have the 2-drop Magic Illusionist. This card I actually underestimated quite a bit. If you do watch the previous video, I didn't have it in my old version of the deck, but turns out this card is actually quite amazing. It's a sticky follower, and it is true that it could just eat up your sigils, but by eating up your sigils, you're forcing your opponent to spend resources to kill this 2/2. Keeps coming back to life. So he's really, really good. You can get a lot of face damage in with him, because it's really awkward to deal with him. Now, for the selection of spells, since this is a burn deck, we have a lot of burn spells. The selection of spells is fairly flexible. I run double Dance of Death, 2 Mutagenic Bolts, and 3 Piercing Moves in this deck. In this meta, since a lot of decks go wide on the board, and since Spawn of the Abyss is such a big problem, at least 2 copies of Mutagenic Bolt are required, I believe. Some people run 3, but I think 3 is a little bit too clunky, so I think 2 is the right amount. Dance of Death, another really good card. There are definitely some good targets for Dance of Death, especially if you play against Dragon, but this is another clunky card, so I only have 2 of it. Piercing Rune should always be 3. I know a lot of people like to run Demonic Strike, which is the 4-cost spell, deal 3 damage, but I'm personally not a big fan of it, because Demonic Strike is pretty bad on its own. It's really only good when you play it with Oz, because then you get, 1 cost 3 damage, which is basically a Crimson Sorcery. And then there are some other flex spots for spells. You'll see in my deck I have Kaleidoscopic Glow. So that's a tech choice. You don't have to run it. I run it because in this meta, dealing with Bloodcraft's Tove is a really big pain, and Glow is a pretty decent way to deal with it. Temporarily deal with it, at least. Bounce it back, draw a card. Another spell you could consider running is Rite of Exorcism. That's the 3-cost spell that kills any 3-cost follower. And then if you enhance it for 5, it just turns into Execution. So Rite of Exorcism is very, very good on Tove. It's also very, very good on Goblin Leaders. So if you're unable to draw an answer to Goblin Leader, you can kill it and not let it snowball on you. So yeah, that is this deck in a nutshell. Again, if you want more detailed information on how to play it, go watch my other video, my older video on this deck. But yeah, it's a really good deck in the current meta. Really, really fun. And you have some good answers against the current top decks. It's basically, I think in my previous version of the video, I called this aggro Earth Rune, but this is not really an aggro deck. It's a tempo deck. It's a mid-range tempo deck. You can get on the board fairly quickly, but you are slower than the average aggro deck, since we don't really have 1-drops in this deck. And you don't really flood the board like a typical aggro deck as well. But the one defining feature is just how much burn this deck has. There's a lot of direct damage. Haven. Generally, we want to go first. Didn't get it. It's fine. So, Kaleidoscopic Glow is always a keep. It's our best answer to, what is that? Beast Call Arya. Also a great answer to Snow White. Alright, so we play the Dwarf. Doesn't trade. So this is a little bit scary. Not really. The play here is to bounce something. He curved down to a 2 and 3, but it's not really that threatening because he hasn't played any like Storm Amulets. So we're actually going to be bouncing the Sacred Clay instead of the dog, just to deny the draw. It's probably going to go for the value trade now, the Grimnir. Alright, it's a weak turn 4, that's good. Now we bounce the dog. Then evolve Levy. There's the Aria. Oh, we ran out of bounces. Kinda sucks. Then we play the Scrap Iron to protect the Halo Golem. He needs either a Scripture or a Priest to have a clean answer here. Doesn't have it. That's good. That's a really, really bad evolve. He's gonna get punished really hard for this. Yep, so we DOD, evolve, hit face, sorcery. So he's already at less than half life now, because of that one misplay he made. Well, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a misplay, maybe he had nothing better in his hand. It's certainly possible. Alright, so he healed a decent amount. Luckily we have a really clean answer to the Evolve Curate. We Piercing Rune it, and then we play, and then the order here is very important, we play the Nightfall first to ensure it gets ambush, and then the Illusionist. And that way we're just threatening 7 damage next turn with our board. I'm sorry, not 7. 8. Tennis. Alright, that's a good pickup. We can do the exact same thing again. I was about to say that we're running out of steam, but luckily we have Wizardess to bail us out. Aegis. Alright, that is kind of scary. He's kind of low, though. Alright, that's a great pickup. We have 8 damage on board, 10 with a Piercing Rune. So the play here is to play Wizardess and to hope we draw into another burn spell. We did it. It's the pre-nerf Piercing Rune at 1 play point. Dragon. We generally want to go first. Oh, we didn't get it. Yeah, if this is Ramp Dragon, that's a really good hand, we'll keep everything. But if this is Ramp Dragon, and it probably is, it's really, really hard to win when going second. Especially if they get a good ramp curve. At least we have our own curve. Have the turn 3 Mage of Nightfall set up here. Alright, so there's no way we're gonna trade with that, we're just ignoring it. The face here. We're ignoring it because there's a huge difference between 4 PP and 5 PP. Oh wow, he's playing Erd. That's really greedy. But now it gives him the double ramp. Alright, so this play, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play the Angel of the Word, but we're going to ping the Erd. By pinging the Erd, we make it so that the Erd can't get like a nice value trade with the Dwarf Alchemist. And then we just take anything on board, evolve, hit face. So at this point, he's at 5 PP, he's going to have 6 next turn. We don't really have any good way of playing around Enhanced Breathless Salamander, and he has a board, so we'll just go face here. So let's just draw a card also. Sybil. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. All the healing. This matchup is hard because, yeah, the dragon just has so much healing. But luckily we have a clean answer to Sybil with the Dance of Death, but it is going to take our whole turn. Another Sybil. He's already at 10. That's rough. Alright, so at this point, if you look at our hand, we have an amazing hand. Like, basically, the way our hand looks right now, we have a lot of cards, but almost every single one of our cards is burned, so it's basically guaranteed that for the next few turns, we're going to be constantly dealing some kind of damage to the opponent's face. And then once we start to run low, we have the Wizardess of Oz to refill, so that's great. So yeah, this play, we're going to clear the board by using the Red Hot on the Summoner, Halo Golem, aim it for face, and then evolve to get rid of the Sybil. So yeah, just like, next few turns are just going to be nothing but burn. Just gently bring him down. Just have to hope he doesn't draw into all of his healing. More healing. Alright, so at this point, 10 PP, right? We can't really play around things like, what is that? Grimnir. So we have 7 play points this turn. So the play is Halo Golem and Mage of Nightfall. And, you know, if he was not at 10 PP, then there might be some merit to playing Mage of Nightfall first to get the stealth, and then we could guarantee some damage next turn. But at this point, our board's probably going to get cleared every turn. So we play Halo Golem first to ensure the 3 damage to face. Oh, sorry, that was my phone. But yeah, Halo Golem first. At this point, he has so much clear that the ambush from Mage of Nightfall doesn't even matter anymore. Levy's a great draw. Gives him more burn, so you evolve Levy into the Grimnir, and then we play Young Levy to go face. I was at 9. Bahamut. That's difficult. Alright, so Bahamut's a huge threat. We can't let it live, especially since he has an evolve. So the play here, we need to find an answer. We already used 1 Dance of Death. So the play here is to play Crimson Sorcery first, face, and then we play Wizardess to draw 2 cards, and then we need to find either our second Dance of Death or a Mutagenic Bolt. Oops. Found it. Alright, great. So now the order here is important. Since we want to maximize damage, he's really, really low. We're going to play Piercing Wound first, and then Bolts. And that's going to bring him down to 3 HP. And so that means that if my opponent does not heal, Young Levi will finish the game for us. Great. No healing. We win.
俺の名はレビー。覚えておけ。
負けたか。貴様を強者と認めよう。手加減なしよ。本気で行くわ。
退屈させてくれるなよ。
私は舞台に咲く花。閉幕ね。
俺に従え。出てこい。獲物発見。行くぞ。
ダメ。塔の上で私は一人。これで決めるわ。さようなら。
目覚めなさい。
小手調べだ。
恐怖を知りなさい。破滅の果てに汝が罰あり。燃えてるんじゃ。
この渇きはあなたのせい。ダメ。ダメ。
わしはしがない魔法使いじゃよ。若い頃を思い出すわい。楽になったっちゅう。
優しくしたの。
種も仕掛けもございます。
この渇きはあなたのせい。
拍手喝采。種も仕掛けもござい
塔の上
ます。
で私は一人。
少し本気を出すでし
あなたから目が離せないのよ。
拍手喝采。種も仕掛けもございます。
優しくしたの。これで終わりよ。
種と仕掛け見破れましたか。
この渇きはあなたのせい。
俺に従え。出てこい。獲物発見。行くぞ。
優しくしたの。
種も仕掛けもございます。
不思議な世界。素敵な世界。
拍手喝采。種も仕掛けもございます。見破られました
塔の
か。
上で私は一人。私は舞台に咲く花。
出てこい。
俺の名はレビー。覚えておけ。貴様の力を認めねばならんな。
手加減なしよ。本気で行くわ。光があなたを導くでしょう。
仕事しますか。さて仕事しますか。ダメ。へえ、結構すごいね。不思議な世界、素敵な世界。
わしはしがない魔法使い
これで
じゃ
決める
よ。
わ。
若い頃を思い出すわい。
また遊びましょう。へえ、結構すごいね。
おい、これにはここが限界じゃのう。わしはしがない魔法使いじゃよ。若い頃を思い出すわい。
夜は私の世界。これで決めます。これで終わりよ。闇の最中であなたを見つめる。
俺の名はレビー。覚えておけ。
我が炎は神の光だ。
儚き雪に舞い落ちる。
ここからです。我が炎は悪しきを許さぬ。
油断したか。俺の名はレビー。覚えておけ。
進め、燃え尽きるまで。
儚き雪に舞い落ちる。強行をあげる。受け取って。
燃えてるっちゃ。燃えてるっちゃ。
素晴らしい腕前です。